A dangerous virus is spreading rapidly in China, and U.S. officials are very worried that it could come here. China has more than 200 confirmed cases of coronavirus.
Coronavirus emergency.
With the coronavirus.
Growing concerns about the deadly coronavirus officially hitting the U.S.
First case of the deadly Chinese coronavirus.
The Philippines has reported the first death from the new coronavirus outside
President
of China.
Trump declaring the coronavirus a national emergency. The number of cases in the U.S. rising over 2,000. At least 49
More than
deaths.
14,000 people have been infected worldwide.
More than 130,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19 and more than 2,000
By one
deaths.
count, over 1 million have now been infected by coronavirus worldwide since the start of this outbreak. Tens of thousands
Around
have
the world,
died.
the number of confirmed coronavirus cases has now passed 2 million, and there have been 128,011 deaths.
So I started getting symptoms on Friday, and I was a little bit shocked because I had been feeling really well the past 2 days. You know, I didn't really think anything was going to come of it. I was just going to get this test to be cleared, you know, go back to work and everything. So I was pretty surprised when I started feeling pretty sick. I was really expecting it to be my first time, because my first time I started getting symptoms that I guess I just put into my head. And so I got my negative test that time. And so when I was feeling really well for like those first 2 days, I really thought that nothing was going to come of it and it was just going to go back to normal life.
So on Friday afternoon, Dad came home from work with a really bad headache, and he had a shower and went right to bed. And Isabel had already been in bed because she wasn't feeling very well. I think that same day, Henry had cold symptoms, and so we weren't quite sure where everybody was at, but it seemed like, you know, maybe COVID had come to the house. And so in the end, it was just Dan and me sitting together around the kitchen table, and we took people meals and went and picked up their dishes again later. The house was really quiet at that point. When Dad went to the hospital on Friday afternoon, things were different around here. I remember waiting for him because of COVID. I wasn't allowed to wait with him in the hospital while he was being assessed. So I went back outside, and I had a friend, sweet friend, come and just spend the afternoon with me. And so we waited. There was a bench in the sunshine by the entrance, and my friend sat there with me in the afternoon, and we just waited and waited. And my phone was starting to blow up because people were texting and calling and wanting to know, like, what's happening, is, you know, do you have anything to tell? And so pretty much from the time that I dropped him off at the emergency room, after that my phone was just constantly, either I was getting texts or calls, and so that Friday afternoon was quite busy. I don't remember if it was Friday night or Saturday, it might have been Friday night, that I had sent an update that I had taken him to the hospital and he had been admitted. He had COVID pneumonia. And the outpouring of support from people was tremendous. And so that really motivated me to continue to send updates to people, because so many people kept on asking on Facebook, and they were texting me and emailing me, how's Greg doing? What's going on? And so I would just send out, it kind of got into a rhythm after a little while, and I would send out kind of a morning and an evening update. And I didn't want to cause people's phones to blow up or to send them a lot more communication, but so many people kept asking. And I just really felt that people were supporting us and praying for us, and so I wanted to keep on letting them know what was happening and specific things they could pray for.
First started January 22nd. It was a Friday, coming home after work, and that's when I first started experiencing the symptoms. So we had a virtual visit with them on the 29th. And so we had borrowed a pulse oximeter to check the oxygen saturation levels. And normal range for a healthy person with no breathing issues is between 90 to 100. Mine was in the high 70s, low 80s. And so during that interview with a virtual interview with the doctor, she suggested very strongly that I go to the emergency, and so she called ahead, made the arrangements, and let them know that I'd be coming to the emergency room to get checked in. At that time, it was hard to put one or two sentences together without breathing very, very heavily, and it was like just very taxing to try and put those sentences together.
I had a great sense of relief when he was admitted to the hospital, because I thought, finally some people will be caring for him who know what they're doing. And I was doing the best I could for him, but I just could sense that it wasn't enough at this point, but I didn't know what else to do. And so I think for Isabel, it was like, oh my goodness, Dad's gone to the hospital, you know, the sky is falling. And for me, when I left him at the hospital and I knew he had been admitted, it was like, great, now he's going to really start to get care. And so I felt a great sense of peace, actually, after I dropped him off there. And, you know, I was sad that he was in the hospital, that he was sick enough that he had to be at the hospital, but I was glad that finally he was going to get the care he needed.
Went in on January 29th to the emergency, and they checked me out and put me on some oxygen right away, and did a lot of tests, and then they decided after a few hours they're going to admit me. One of the rooms I was in, on the third floor there in the hospital, they had it's called a ventilator, and with big HEPA filters that they have big duct work that pipes out to the window outside, and the one room, the fan with the filter was so loud and going 24/7, and there's just, we could not hear myself talking to the doctor or nurses. We were shouting and stuff like that, so it was hard to sleep and get rest during there. And got moved up to the 5th floor where it's a little bit more care. Experiencing some difficulties in swallowing, just due to a very, very sore raw throat. I don't know if that's caused by the constant oxygen. I think they had me on 95% oxygen to help with the breathing. That helped breathing a lot. So they're able to gradually lower the levels. I was on several different medicines. I think remdesivir was the one for the infection. I was on steroids to help with the lungs, and blood thinners, and stuff for the stomach to help settle your stomach. And so I was on that, and you had a visit from a blood the laboratory, at 4 o'clock in the morning to do your daily blood draw, and that was always fun, even on a weekend. They're coming in at 4. So, but mostly the staff were excellent. The care was great. The food was good. I know people typically say, "Oh, hospital food," but it was pretty good. What I could eat and stuff. So, well, I was admitted on January 29th, and I was in there for 10 days. So I was released on February the 8th. Got to come home and be with the family. Met with the doctors and nurses, and they both agreed that I was in good enough shape to be released and go home. So around 3 o'clock, the discharge papers were signed, and Isabel came, picked me up at a ride down in a wheelchair, and I took my supplemental oxygen tank home with me. That beyond just oxygen at home, and that was a real good day. Well, after I got home, Mom and I quarantined, obviously in our room together. She was still in her quarantine, so was able to do that, just be on oxygen as well. It was weird, just not being able to go out and interact with the rest of the family and stuff, but we knew it was for a purpose and a short amount of time. So we were blessed to have a lot of people bring meals by, and the kids did a great job in bringing food to us, and taking things away and keeping up the house. It was really encouraging to see that, and I really appreciated the time that was over, and I was able to get out actually of quarantine on my birthday, and we're able to sit down and have a meal together as a family. So I hadn't done that in well over a month, and so that was a real neat treat and a real nice celebration with family around. And so I was very blessed to be able to do that on my birthday, because there was talk in the hospital that I wouldn't be getting out on my birthday and stuff like that. And so I said, no way, I need to get out be home on my birthday, and that. So that's a goal of mine to have in the back of my mind there. Well, I think just in wrapping things up, just have people be sensitive to what others are going through. COVID affects people differently, and just want people to realize that there is hope. I kept sharing this with the staff in the hospital who've been working under these conditions for over a year, and just not to give up hope. There's always hope for a brighter future. There's hope that will get you through, not hope in a sense that you don't believe in anything, but there's a belief that you can get through things not in your own strength, but with God's strength. And that's what got me through. A lot of prayer and support of our church family, not only here in North Carolina, but throughout the world, from the friends and acquaintances I've met along the way over the years in my journeys throughout the world. And it was really neat just to see and read all those expressions of love and support and concern and prayers. So just so very grateful for just being able to be surrounded by a lot of people who cared and loved not only myself, but loved the family while we were separated.